How's it going, everyone? My name is Sam Swalset, and welcome back to the garage. I've got a fun and unexpected board here for you today that we're going to be doing a little bit of work on. This is a board that I made a few years back. Made it for a customer who wanted a custom fish. This is EPS and epoxy, a material that I wasn't super familiar with at the time, but we went for it and made the board. Long story short, he didn't love the board, but it's back in the garage today with a fin box repair on it. Down here, we've got a little bit of fin box damage, which I'll show you in some footage right now. And so we're going to fix that. And the current owner of the board also wants a polish on it, so we're going to do that as well. But first things first, let's get into this board and take off this wax. All right, while I'm taking this wax off, we're going to do a little bit of story time. This will be fun. So a few years ago, during the pandemic, when I was still kind of getting into shaping, still learning the ropes a little bit here and there, I got asked if I could make an EPS board for this guy that reached out to me on Instagram. And me always trying to take opportunities to learn, I said, sure, let's do it. So we did it, and this is the product of that board, of that project. It was interesting learning to shape EPS boards. I did two at the same time. I did this one as long as one that was for me originally that I ended up selling as well. And they were fun projects. I really enjoyed doing them. I also did it in partnership with Total Boat. They actually sent me out the resin, which was fantastic. Shout out to them for working with me, even though I was super small. I wasn't even making YouTube at the time. It was just Instagram content, so good on them. But after giving the guy the board, about a week or so later, he reached out to me saying it wasn't for him. He just didn't like it. And I'm sure that happens to shapers all the time, but this was the first time it happened with one of my boards. And I was bummed, right? I mean, I spent probably 15, 20 hours into this board, making it the way that I thought it should be and the way that I thought it would work best for him, and he didn't like it. And it's the name of the game, but I was bummed. Tried to make it right. Being a smaller person, being a smaller shaper, I obviously don't have other boards that I can just hand him a new one. And so I said I would give him a pretty steep discount on a new board if he wanted it, but ultimately he decided that he was just going to sell it and go a different way, which more than entitled to. That was a few years ago, and now, earlier this week, well, I guess it was the end of last week, I got an email from the current owner of this board saying, hey, came across this board, found your story, really resonated with me, and I have this fix on this board that I was wondering if you'd want to help me out with. So he drove out here, dropped off the board, and the nicest guy. He was super nice, very gracious to have the board, and it was really what I had hoped for in shaping boards, was to meet people like him, where he really connected with the board itself. He said that he'd served multiple boards at this point now. He's still in the beginning stages, which, awesome. But this is the first board that he really has like a connection with, that really suits his style and what he does with surfing. And so it was a super wholesome, super great experience. And so let's get this board looking just right for him. So let's finish taking off this wax. We'll get to sanding, and let's put our heart and soul into this, because that's what the current owner deserves. Alright, we're going to get to sanding this bad boy, and if I remember correctly, we'll probably see some purple dust fly, because I think I tinted the hot coat purple on this one to give her that really deep purple color that I was looking for. So let's have some fun. Try and talk while I work here, so hopefully I don't forget too much. But luckily with this fin box, it wasn't shaking at all. So the epoxy down beneath it is holding tight just like it should. It's just the glass on top delaminated a little bit, which is fine. It happens sometimes. I remember using Total Bolt resin for this, which just must not have gotten great adhesion to the fin box, which, you know, it happens sometimes. It's not ideal, obviously, but, you know, surfboard building is not the most perfect science in the world. Things break sometimes. But as I'm resetting it here, I'm just filling in all of the gaps of the fiberglass that I cut out, making sure that it gets all nice and in there. And I'm going to lay this patch on top. I went ahead and tinted the resin for this. Normally I would just do clear on this, but because I know it was purple and I'm trying to keep it as dark as it originally was, just went ahead and tinted it. Shouldn't be too much of an issue at all. And now let's go ahead and get this cloth saturated. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. We're going to leave this overnight to set up, just because epoxy takes a little longer to cure and it's standard anyways. So let's leave it there. We'll pick it back up tomorrow. Alright, it's the next day. Things are looking good, nice and dry. I'm going to go ahead and knock down some of the edges of this fiberglass with some sandpaper, just some rough 60 grit, and then we'll throw on a quick layer of hot coat. Let's get to it. Okay, so here we are a couple days later. The epoxy is cured. We are good to go. So I'm going to sand this guy down, get the fin box out, and then we're just going to move straight on to polishing this board up because it's ready to be given back to its owner. Let's rock and roll. Well, that was unexpected. I'll grab the camera so you can see what happened here, but yeah, the resin just didn't stick. I don't know. I've never seen that happen before. I just started sanding it, and then my sander caught a chunk of the fiberglass. Like I can still peel it off here, and ripped it up, and then the entire patch was just peeled off easily. Like you can see this. Like this shouldn't be a thing. But even like on the fin box where like it was clearly sanded on the fin box, it didn't stick. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to sand this back down and just try again. Hopefully it'll work this next time, but yeah, that's a bummer. I was not expecting that. Yeah, I guess we try again. Hopefully it'll work this time. Okay, you're not gonna be able to see me because I'm zoomed in, but this is some live commentary as I'm working on this. I've got a couple theories as to why this separated. First one, and I've tried to accommodate for all of them with this next patchwork here. But the first one is I might not have been as clean as I need to be with epoxy. Epoxy can be kind of finicky with dust and stuff like that. And so with this batch, what I've done is you can kind of see a little bit of the residue of it, is I use some vinegar to just clean everything and get rid of all the dust off this. Make sure that it's nice and clean for this patchwork. And then I used my air compressor to make sure it's all very dry, right? Because vinegar like neutralizes epoxy. which is good, but also you don't want it for your patchwork. And so made sure everything was very dry before getting on this. Next thing that I'm accounting for, which, while you can still see that it's purple, is I might have used too much color in the first batch. And the color obviously changes the chemical composition of the epoxy. And in such small volumes, like a little cup like this, just a tiny bit of, or a little bit too much color will change it enough that it might not cure as well as it's supposed to. So I've used less color, even though, like I said, I still did it because I want to try and match this as best as possible. I've used less, so hopefully that helps. The last thing that I did was I didn't use fiberglass out of my box scraps, just because I've had that for some time now, a couple years, and so there might be some dust and stuff like that in there. So I got fiberglass off of a fresh roll of fiberglass. So hopefully that will, those three things will hopefully negate the issues that I had, and we'll come back and this patch will be even stronger than the last one. So let's just finishing this up now. Let's let that cure, and hopefully that does the trick. We'll come back in with obviously a coat of resin on top of it to seal everything in. But yeah, hopefully that'll do it. So we're back. I went ahead and off camera, I put on a layer of hot coat on top of the fiberglass, so that's all cured now and we should be good to go. Let's hope this goes better than last time. I mean, it feels good, so fingers crossed. Let's get into it. Okay, so with that, I think we're pretty good. It feels solid, so I'm happy with it. But like I mentioned earlier, our client, he wanted to kind of give the whole board a refresh. So what I'm going to do is, starting at 600 grit, just resand the whole board. I'm going to start at 600 because then I'm going to go 800 and then 1000, and then we're going to give it a polish, and hopefully bring this board back to almost new condition. Should be good. Let's do it. Wrap on this one. It was a fun project. The fin box was a bit of a bummer when that got ripped off, but we got it all set and solid now. An unexpected board coming back from the shop with a fun little polish on it. I'm happy with it. I think the current owner is going to really get a lot of life and love out of this board still. So super happy, glad he brought it back to me. Stoked to see how his surfing journey goes, and hope that you come back to see what we're working on next time. If you liked it, feel free to drop a like and subscribe. It really helps me out. And if you want to comment, I really appreciate that too. It helps get my videos out to more people. Thanks again, and stay stoked, everyone.